Hey, folks. I hope you're having a great weekend. I am just wanting to come on here real quick and cover a couple of things that I made a mistake on this morning. So, again, I really appreciate you guys. I think it's great that I can just kind of come on here flying by the seat of my pants and be appreciated like that. So this morning, I was talking about the weight of Kylie's lungs being reported as they were incorrectly reported, I believe, as 100 and 110 in weight. Hey, Ashley B, how's it going? And during Google searches and looking up academic papers and that sort of thing, I got confused that each lung normally weighs 100 grams, and it's actually, I said 100. It's getting late. I'm getting tired. I'm past my bedtime. Usually a lung is 500 grams. Okay, so the pair of lungs is usually 1,000 grams. So it's very odd that Kylie's lungs in the report say that they are 100 and 110 grams. I don't understand that. So at first I thought, well, maybe they made a typo. Maybe they just like left off a zero, right? Or something like that. A kilogram is how much a set of adult lungs weighs in general. So why hers would weigh 100 and 110 is just beyond me. I was confused when I was trying to figure it all out, and I was thinking that 1,000 grams was what each of them should have weighed. But to clarify, the reason I came on here, if I haven't gotten to my point, I know, like I said, I'm a little tired. Okay, each lung on a grown-up is usually going to weigh 500 grams. A pair of lungs is going to weigh about 1,000 grams. So when a person has drowned, they're going to weigh much more than that, anywhere from just 20% more, so like 1,200 grams together, all the way up to even 2 or 3 times their weight when a person is drowned. So why in the world they would say that each lung was 100 and 110? And also I wanted to point out that it is totally normal for your right lung to be slightly bigger than your left lung. So I think her left lung was 100, they said, and the right one was 110. Anyway, I don't know where they're getting their measurements, because that's just not possible for a full-grown person her size. But while I was looking at that, I was struck by some other odd numbers of weights of things. Her liver was 400 grams. Her kidneys were each 50 grams and 70 grams. Her brain was exactly 1,000 grams. I'm not thinking that's really possible, that the brain was 1,000, the liver was 400, kidneys were 50, 70, lungs were 100 and 110. Like, are they just guessing? Is that what's going on here? I am really, let's see. I'm trying to read some of these. Ashley B says, yes, I found that too. They had all the time in the world to get this correct and true, but once again, they're totally disappointed by our law enforcement and legal system. I apologize. My dogs are all going nuts. There must be a dog taking a walk right outside. Anyway, rather than trying to quiet them down, I'll just talk louder. God, if it's not one thing, it's another, huh? So Kylie's body weight, we all know she was a very lovely, svelte, 5'7" and 117 pounds was what was reported. So now in her autopsy, they say that she measures 66 inches, which is an inch shorter than what had been said, and that she weighed 103 pounds. Again, is this just another freaking error? How could Kylie have lost 14 pounds? And again, being submerged in water for 2 weeks or for any amount of time, wouldn't that make her weigh possibly more? I'm just really, really upset by the whole catastrophe. So they say they don't have her dental records. They don't have her medical records. They have no idea who her dentist is. They have no idea who her physician is. The girl had braces. So she also has an orthodontist and orthodontic records in this small town of Truckee that they live in. So a couple more things. I wanted to address that necklace again. There was a note in the autopsy that there's no external or internal evidence of significant injury. How could that be? How could that possibly be when that car was flipped over with her in it? That's just disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. So somebody says they all end in zeros. So is that normal for everything in an autopsy to end in zeros, or is that just this one? I do have some other copies of autopsies, originals, that I was going to pull out and look at. I haven't had an opportunity to do that yet. I've been enjoying my Saturday doing Saturday types of things. But I did want to correct these things. So those necklaces, they have said all along that we were looking for one necklace with 3 strands. So now in the report, they make it sound as if it's 3 separate necklaces. And in the report, hey, Mookie, stop. That little one, man, she's the most annoying. She's the cutest, but also the most annoying with the yappy bark. So the necklaces with the pendants hanging on them, the one that says it's a colorless pendant, that really bothers me, because did they mean clear? Like, colorless is not a way to describe something. But on the necklace with the 3 strands that she wears in a lot of those photographs, there are 2 pendants on the smaller skinny strands up higher, but on the large heavy gold chain, there is nothing hanging from that. And I'm not trying to split hairs here, but it really bothers me that they called her necklaces yellow. They said she had 3 yellow necklaces. If they are gold tone and they were underwater, I don't think they'd be looking very yellow. That's just an opinion from a professional jeweler, okay? Whatever the metal was, whether it's gold, gold fill, any other variety of gold tone metals, I just don't think it would be yellow when it's been in water for 2 weeks. You can make some comments on that if you have different opinions, if you guys are jewelry lovers. So many of us are. So 2 more things I wanted to cover, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Oh, I'm only at 8 minutes. Good. I was trying to keep this one super short because, like I said, again and again, I'm tired. I'm a morning person these days, not so much a night person. So on that death certificate, why is there only 1 family member listed? There was a space for at least 4, I think, somewhere around there. It even had numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the only person listed on there is Lindsay. And to me, that makes no sense at all, especially her father and her grandfather, but even her stepfather and her brother. I mean, why only Lindsay? I find that very disturbing, especially knowing that there's a severe rift in the divorce. There's an odd rift in that Lindsay's biological father seems tight with her ex-husband. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, right? So it just doesn't make sense to me that she would be the only one listed on there. It's not cool. And back to Jack Webb. That's the name of the guy who started Dragnet. So Jack Webb starred in a movie called The Man that is an amazing movie. It had Marlon Brando in it. It was around 1953, I think. Somewhere 1950, 1954, somewhere in there. It was around the same time that Marlon Brando did On the Waterfront and The Wild One. So all of those movies were like 1950, 1953, 1954. And Brando is amazing, right? For anybody who's not familiar with Brando or not a Brando fan, those are the movies you want to check out to appreciate Brando, the early ones. And so the man that Jack Webb starred in, I think he won like the Academy Award or something for that movie. Anyway, he made boku bucks, and he took all that money and he started that show Dragnet because he felt like crime in Los Angeles was terrible and that people needed to become more aware of how the system worked. So he tried to make it as realistic as possible. And that show was his baby. And like I said, pretty much every television show about true crime has been based as Dragnet as the template. So has true crime writing and true crime movies been utilizing Capote as a template ever since he did the In Cold Blood. And Harper Lee was his childhood friend who also was his assistant at the New Yorker. Mookie, quiet. Hey. So Harper Lee went and assisted him for years. During those years, he did extensive interviews with everybody in the town in Kansas where this tragedy happened. And he did extensive interviews with the two convicted criminals when they were on death row. And the one criminal he had a very, very close alliance with. And in his own words, that case and that period of his life destroyed him. It destroyed him to see this young man get the death penalty, although he deserved it. I believe he was so young. I want to say 17, but it was Robert Blake who was 17 when he played that character, Perry. And I think he did it in New York City on Broadway as well as in the movie, if I'm remembering all that right. But Robert Blake was a tremendously talented actor, and he nailed that part. And he, that was what broke him into fame. And then we all know he fell to his devastating end with murdering his girlfriend outside of an Italian restaurant where they had an argument, and he shot her in the car and had all these cockamamie stories about it. Ashley B says, I have 6 dogs, so I know what it's like for sure. Well, I only have 3. We also have 3 cats. So, we have a pretty lively household, and I'm surprised it's that I can get these done at all. So thanks again, people. I'm going to read a couple more of these. Been wondering to Caroline. I caught you live again. Ronna Jane says, yay. I have doggies that bark like that. I'm shocked that they're not barking at your dogs right now. And Phantasmic Ether says, Ashley B, they're like potato chips, addictive little things. They are so cute. I know. I mean, we would have more, but like I said, we have half a dozen pets already. And somebody says, we have a Shih Tzu and 4 kitties. Oh my God. Yeah, pets are the best. They're really good for us too. They keep us happy and healthy. And it's a proven fact that people live longer when they have pets. I don't know if everybody knows that, but that is a factoid. We can Google it and everything. District attorney was Woo's wife. What? I know that back when all that noise happened that is in the affidavit, his wife was in a position of that nature, and I thought they got a divorce, and I don't know if he's remarried, and I don't know which wife. I mean, this town is so, this area of Truckee and Placer County and Nevada County, these people, I hope that this spotlight and this attention can get the place straightened out, because I'm sure that there are a lot of good, honest people that live there and love it and have to put up with this Truckee Way crap. And it's just despicable. And they don't need to be an embarrassment to the rest of Lake Tahoe. I mean, it's a beautiful place, and it's a very conveniently located place. Being that Interstate 70 goes right through it, it's kind of the first place that you get to when you're going to Tahoe. So it's easier to stay in Truckee and to ski in the resorts around Truckee than it is to go down to the other areas that are a little bit further if you're coming from San Francisco. Maybe if you're coming from Reno, maybe Heavenly's closer than like North Star and Sugar Bowl. Sugar Bowl's the closest to San Francisco and Sacramento. But just a few more minutes to North Star, and I much preferred the slopes of North Star. Sugar Bowl is just what it sounds like. It's a bowl, and it's just kind of, I don't know. It just didn't work for me. Hopefully I'm not offending anybody who loves Sugar Bowl, but most people rave about North Star, Heavenly, Borealis, I think was another one. And then what used to be called Squaw, which has been renamed something Palisades so that it's politically correct, which is good. We need to do that and clean those things up. Political dynamics are mind-blowing, absolutely. And this Shanann Moon, Nevada County Sheriff, I heard AD, the armchair detective, call her Shanann in his video from yesterday or the day before. And I thought, is he just getting his wires crossed because he's British and her name's Shannon? Like, Shanann's not a name that you hear too much. The only Shanann I've ever heard of is Shanann Watts. An armchair detective has done years of studying the Watts case. So I thought he was just misspeaking. But I guess that the sheriff's name is Shanann Moon. So I don't know. I wish that she could do her job more professionally and better and hold herself to a higher standard, because most law enforcement professionals hold themselves to the highest standard, right? I mean, they have to. They get scrutinized and criticized from all angles, even without this kind of spotlight and national and international attention. Law enforcement gets criticized. They are held to a much higher standard than the rest of the population. It's just the way it is. So, especially for her to be a woman and in a high position like that, it would be nice if she could hold her own. And I don't know, it's not too late. She could do a 180 and say, my God, what's been going on here, people? We need to deal with this appropriately and professionally. So on that, everything I say is my opinion only. Nothing is other than speculation. It's all for educational, entertainment purposes. Try to drink your water, eat your fruits and veggies. And just to clarify, I'm not a vegetarian. I didn't want to give people the wrong impression. I need my protein. So I like vegetarian types of protein, but I also feel like I need to eat meat in order to stay healthy. So I just wanted to let people know that I wasn't like on a vegetarian kick trying to transform or conform people to vegetarianism. It's just that none of us eat enough vegetables, right? I mean, maybe a few of us, but hardly anybody. A lot of vegetarians probably do actually eat enough vegetables because they don't have a lot of food choices and, not as many food choices anyway. And vegetables go through you so quickly, fruits and vegetables. If you're eating a nice, clean diet, you're going to be hungry every hour or every 2 hours. So try to eat a nice, clean diet. Make sure you have your protein, whether you're vegetarian or not vegetarian, and get your rest. Keep yourself humble, happy, healthy, and thank you. And let's keep focusing on justice for Kylie, because we know that this whole thing is atrocious, and hopefully something will give. Hopefully something will change. Maybe Adventures with Purpose will release some more information or something. let's just keep our fingers crossed. I'll see you on the next one. And thank you so much, folks. I really appreciate you. Have a great night.